Hi, my name is Merce. I'm a classical guitar player, and today I want to show you something that you really have to know if you play the guitar. So let's see 4 chord shapes that will allow you to play any major or minor chord anywhere in the fretboard. As you can imagine already, this is going to be a great resource for you, whether you want to play some songs and sing along, or you're a classical guitar player like me, and you want to actually have better control and easier overview of which are the harmonic changes that happen. So this tutorial maybe might enlighten you a little bit on how to find some reference across the fretboard very easily and very quickly. The first tip that I'm going to show you is with a chord that you probably well know already. It's the E major chord that we generally play like this. Now, if we swap these fingers for these ones, so that we get to free up the first finger here, now here we still have a E major chord, right? So why this one gets the name of the E chord? Well, that's because the chord is based on the fundamental or root of the chord, which is the E, and in this case we find it on the 6th open. But now that we have freed the first finger in here, what we can do is we just scroll the hand, and there we have F major. And like this we can continue. F sharp major, G major, G sharp major, A major, and so on. So allow me please here a very short digression, because it's going to be the key point of this whole system. If you can already read music, that will be no problem for you, but if you're used to read tabs, here there is an important thing that you actually have to know. It's very simple, but it will help you a lot. So you know that the notes are organized from A to G. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then we know that each note is one full step apart, except in 2 places. We have between E and F, we have a half step, and the same happens for the B and C. These ones are just half step apart. Now in the guitar, every half step is 1 fret. So if we want to go 1 full step, we go from one place, we skip a fret, we skip the half step, and then we go to the next, and there we did the full step. So now let's go back to where we were. If we were here in F with this F major chord, and I ask you to play a G, you just have to check here the distance between the notes and see that the F and the G are a full step apart. So basically you just go half step and another half step, that's a full step, there you have G. So the same principle, let's put a little bit more distance now. So if we have to go from G to B, just count where that would be. So I'll do that with you. We have from G, the next step is A, and A is full step, so we skip to 2 frets. And then from A, we have to go to B, and that is also a full step, so B would be here. And there you have a B major chord. It's really that simple. If you're enjoying this content, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it for helping me to keep creating more of these videos, and I would enormously appreciate your support. So we go to the second tip, and you will love because it's even simpler. So if we go to where we were, let's take the F major chord. Everything that you need to do is go 1 string down, so to the trebles. So we move the first finger to the 5th, and then this block, everything 1 lower. If you just keep moving this shape around the neck, you're gonna get minor chords. Now the process is exactly the same. Now to find the root of each chord and understand which chord you're playing, now we don't need to see the 6th string but the 5th, because everything moved down 1 string. Now let's put back again the notes under, and if you remember that the 5th string is an A, just imagine here that there is an imaginary fret, if that is easier to visualize for you. If we go 1 fret up, if you check here, that would be B flat. In between the natural notes, there is always either A sharp or B flat. This is what we call enharmonics. It's the same note, that's the same place, but sometimes it might be given one name because of the harmonical function, and sometimes another. So knowing this, now you know that here we have a B flat minor or a A sharp minor. Sounds the same. And if you go 1 fret up, B minor, C minor, C sharp minor, and so on. The third tip is going to be playing all these major chords but with the root on the 5th. Now if we stay with the chords with the root on the 5th, if we have the minor here, which is this 3rd, the 2nd finger is where we have the 3rd. If we bring it 1 fret in front, then we will need to change the construction of the chord and we will have this. We'll need these 3 fingers on the same fret. Can be a little bit challenging, but make sure that you don't have this situation here because it sounds rather nasty. This, we transformed the chords with the root on the 5th to major. So we had the minor, major. If you want to have the root on the bass, make sure that the tip of the first finger is actually touching the 6th string, so it doesn't sound, so you have the clean chord like this. You could even step on it, it's part of the harmony, it's not really that disturbing. But remember that the root is on the 5th. Now, if we know this, if we say, okay, let's play a C major on the 3rd position, we know that that's a C major that we know open strings, so we know that it's this. If we want to play an E major, we can play it here. And we want to play a G major, we can play it here. Which is the same like this. The one that you already know, it's just different voicing. You get many more colors, many more options. The last and fourth tip is, of course, the minor chords with the root on the 6th. And if before we had the E major here, we had this position. Now if we go to the minor, the E minor is just with 2 fingers, right? So now, if again we translate this and we move it forward, we have a minor chord. And the same structure is going to be for finding the other chords all around the fretboard. If you play electric guitar, you will even have more frets to reach, so more fun to have. This is really that simple. And if you remember those things, you will have a quite large palette of chords to choose from. And whenever you discover new chords, you will be able to relate to those ones and in a way make stronger your understanding of music and chords. The more you do that and the more you play chords, you will end up remembering like the most frequent chords that you encounter, and you will not even have to think of where they are. But a little tip that I want to give you though, that if you're a beginner, that might save you months and months of, if not years, of playing and figuring things out, is try to memorize as quickly as you can, obviously the open strings, that is fundamental for any instrument, obviously, but then memorize the notes that you encounter on the 3rd fret and on the 7th. On the 6th and 5th string, which is basically 4 notes, it's going to be very easy for you to figure out the rest. Because if you're on the 3rd, if you remember that this is G and you need to find A, you know that it's one step up. It's there. And if you know that you need to have a F, is one step down. So you have the whole thing covered here just by knowing one note. And if you know then the 7, you of course can know by relation also the A, because we have here the B, we have the A, and then a step up, you know that we have the C sharp, and then you have the 12th fret with everything repeats. So if you have electric guitar that has so many more frets that we have on the classical guitar, the whole story is just repeated. So it's very, very, very simple. That's why guitar in a way is a very good instrument for chords, because when you understand how the shapes work, you have a lot of possibilities in just a glimpse of an eye. Actually, a second tip that I would give you is, if you happen to forget which shape was for what in which string, I hope that doesn't happen because it's very simple, but if it does happen, think of the E major chord that you have here, and then think of this shape, and you have the major version. You think of the E minor chord, and then you got all the minor chords like this. And the same thing goes for the 5th string. If you have here the A minor chord here, if you swap it, then you know you have all the minor chords here, which you can also think it as an opposite from the major. Here is major, here is minor. Major. And the A major chord, you can play like this, some people play like this, some other people play like that. Still the same notes. Major, you transpose it, there you have the major shape. Remember, for sharps, no sharps, flats, no flats, it works all the same. So that was everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. Practice well, refresh it, don't forget the concept, and I'll see you next week.